Hi, my name is Lloyd Chapman. I'm president and founder of the American Small Business League. And we got a check from the Justice Department today. They had to pay our legal fees in a lawsuit we won against the Small Business Administration. And I've lost track how many of those I've gotten. I've got quite a few. I blow them up and frame them, put them around my office. And we won that lawsuit because we were asking the SBA, the Small Business Administration, for information on the names of firms that got federal small business contracts. Well, the SBA says they don't have any information on who gets small business contracts. That's funny, because by law, the SBA is in charge of all the policies around federal small business contracting. Every year, for as long as I can remember, they issue a press release about, it's a victory for America when this year, the government awarded some X number of dollars to small businesses. And when we won the lawsuit, Judge Marilyn Patel issued a quote, and she said, the court finds it curious, the SBA's argument that it does not control the very information it needs to carry out its duties and functions. So that's a really nice way for the judge to say that they're lying. So she ruled in our favor. So why would the Small Business Administration lie about having information on federal contracts? Gee, I wonder. I guess it's because the information we got shows that the SBA has lied for years about that, and that actually a very large percentage, it actually looks like the vast majority of all federal small business contracts actually go to Fortune 500 firms and some of the largest companies around the world. We've seen information that shows out of the Federal Procurement Data System that companies like Textron, Lockheed, Boeing, Halliburton, a company in Italy whose names I can't pronounce, a company in South Korea. The company in Italy got, I think, $250 million. The company in South Korea got more than that. Companies in England, Holland, France, all around the world. And by the way, that's continuing. So Barack changed, we can believe in Obama. Every day that he's been in office, every single day, has given millions of dollars in federal small business contracts to some of the biggest companies around the world. The most recent data from the Obama administration shows that Textron was the largest recipient of federal small business contracts. And Textron has 43,000 employees and $25 billion in annual revenue. And they got, get this, $775 million in federal small business contracts. I believe in President Obama's economic stimulus, he was going to give every small business in America around $780 billion. Well, think of it this way, Textron got just about as much in a single year as Obama was going to give every small business in the country in a year. We've got another case against the SBA that's pending right now. So they told the judge they don't have any information on small business contracts. Guess what else they don't have? Phone records. So they told a federal judge in San Francisco they don't have any phone records. So we requested some of their phone records under the Freedom of Information Act after a number of journalists have told us that after I appear on television, I've done Fox and CNN, CNBC, and a few shows like that. After I make an appearance on television, someone from the SBA contacts the television network, tells them that, I'm, Mr. Chapman's a lunatic and he don't know what he's talking about, whatever. And they'll contact them and try to slander me. And we've got copies of those documents, again, through the Freedom of Information Act. So we requested copies of the phone records of Mike Stamler at the SBA. And the SBA told the judge, we don't have any phone records. Well, we're appealing it to the Ninth Circuit Court of Appeals. And I've been there before. I won back, I guess, almost 20 years ago now. And I can't wait to go back and listen to the Federal Appeals Court judges, what they say when the poor slob who's got to represent the SBA in Federal Appeals Court tries to convince the judges they don't have any phone records. That's going to be hilarious. I believe we're going to try to get that videotape and put it on YouTube and put it on our website. So why is the federal government not wanting to release this information about who gets small business contracts and what the SBA press office is doing? We're going to file, I think, between now and the end of March, at least 10 other federal lawsuits against the SBA and other federal agencies, because despite the fact that President Obama promised us increased transparency in government, they're refusing to release anything around federal small business contracting. They won't tell you who gets the contracts, who awarded the contract, who represented the company in that transaction. They're just refusing to tell people anything. And something that didn't get a lot of press, the Obama administration right now is in the process of what I call destroying all the historical data on who got federal small business contracts. So there's a field in the Federal Procurement Data System database called the Small Business Flag. And that's where a company says, we're a small business or a large business. And so the Obama administration is in the process of destroying that field for all historical data. So since 2003, about, over 20 investigations have come out and found widespread fraud, abuse in virtually every program administered by the SBA. And the SBA Inspector General, for example, and the GAO have found that large businesses have committed felony federal contracting fraud by falsely claiming to be small businesses to land billions in federal small business contracts. And now the Obama administration is going to obscure or destroy that field so we can't go back historically and see who got contracts. So I think it's time for somebody in the media to take a look at this issue and ask President Obama. So we see your speeches talking about jobs, the economy, and small business, middle class. Well, here's the question I want someone to ask President Obama or somebody in his staff. So why is your administration giving federal small business funds every day of the week to Fortune 500 firms? That's a reasonable question, don't you think? He's talking about trying to create jobs and stimulate the economy and loan money to small businesses. The largest federal program to direct federal infrastructure spending to the middle class is the Small Business Act. It says 23% of the total value of all federal contracts and subcontracts should go to small businesses. That would be about $160 billion a year. But our research and a lot of the federal investigation lends credibility to our opinion that we think the small businesses are getting maybe $30 billion, not the $160 they're supposed to be getting. So in February of 2008, Barack Obama said, it's time to end the diversion of federal small business contracts to corporate giants. Sure would be great if somebody out there in the media would ask him why he's refused to honor that campaign promise and why in the midst of the worst economic downturn in 80 years, the Obama administration is giving federal small business funds every day of the week to Fortune 500 corporations. Some journalists out there needs to do their job and jump on this story and find out why. And I think it's time. This has gone on for about a decade now. And as far as I can recall, I don't think any journalist has ever asked anybody in the White House or in any federal agency, help me understand, why are you giving small business contracts to Fortune 500 firms? It's time. Thank you very much. I'm Lloyd Chapman, President and Founder of the American Small Business League.